Welcome to the Bernadette Jackson Podcast, where we are redefining how the world views women with daddy issues by discussing topics, sharing stories, and gaining insight, all from the perspective of a fatherless daughter. I'm your host, Bernadette, of BernadetteJackson.com. So the past 2 episodes, we've been talking about the fact that trust leads to vulnerability and vulnerability leads to intimacy. We've broken down trust and vulnerability, so today I want to talk about intimacy. Because fatherless daughters struggle with intimacy in relationships, it's hard to know what intimacy outside of sex actually is. And maybe we may know what it means and what it should look like, but we may struggle with how to achieve it for ourselves. So today, I want to talk about the different types of intimacy that are most popular and some tips on how we can build it. First things first, the 5 most popular types of intimacy are physical, emotional, intellectual, experiential, and spiritual. Physical intimacy is the closeness of one's bodies or touch, i.e. kissing, cuddling, sex, etc. Then there's emotional intimacy, which is what allows you to share personal things with loved ones that you wouldn't share with a stranger. For instance, sharing how your father's absence has affected your self-esteem. Intellectual intimacy involves how another person's mind works and showing them how yours works. Like when you have a deep conversation with someone about a shared belief or idea and you realize afterward how much you really like them. Experiential intimacy happens when you spend quality time with someone or share common interests and activities. For example, when you have a standing appointment with your partner to watch the show This Is Us together, or when you play spades with friends every Saturday night. And lastly, spiritual intimacy is the shared belief in a higher power. This can mean different things to different people and can be built by praying together or attending worship services together. Now that we know the popular types of intimacy, here are a few tips on how to build intimacy in your relationships. Number 1, be curious about yourself and your partner. Be curious about yourself and your partner. Ask yourself or them questions that help you to understand why they feel the way they feel about certain things. Discuss what you both need in order to cultivate a safe space for each other. Next, be affectionate. Now, I know that you automatically think that being affectionate means kissing and touching, but consider what affection means. It's the feeling of liking or caring for someone or something. How can you care for something or someone in a way that may be different than how you may care for, say, like a dog or a plant? You're not going to care for your mom the same way that you care for your partner, right? So when I say be affectionate, I really mean to care for your partner in the way that they prefer to be cared for. For someone who responds to physical touch, that may be a long hug. And for someone who appreciates acts of service, this may be you cooking dinner for them while they relax on the couch after a long day's work, It's different for different people. But if you are curious about your partner and yourself, finding out how they appreciate affection and how they like to receive affection is one of the ways that you are going to actually be able to build that intimacy with them, because your curiosity is going to lead to you knowing exactly what these things are. And the last thing I want you to consider is to be consistent. We know how easy it is for us to feel the connection is gone and the spiral of thoughts that happen after that as fatherless daughters. So I cannot stress enough how important it is for us to be committed to make an effort to show up in our relationships daily. There are going to be days when you miss the mark, but the commitment needs to remain there. So again, those 3 tips are to be curious about yourself and your partner, to be affectionate, and to be consistent. Was this helpful? I hope that it was. I really enjoyed creating these last 3 episodes because they were really, really fun to kind of get in there and to figure out what the nuances, especially as they relate to fatherless daughters. And, there's a lot of information out there on these 3 topics alone, but none of them are specifically geared to us and our special needs. So it was really interesting for me to look at what's out there and to look at what I already know about us and how we relate to things and see how the two can mesh and how they can marry together. I really loved these 3 episodes, and I hope that you did too. Let me know what your favorite part was or what you found most helpful. You can always reach me in the DMs on IG at Bernadette N. Jackson. That's BERNADETTENJACKSON. I always love hearing from you. We have a new episode that drops every Tuesday at 9 a.m. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.